It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM's online web stream. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us. We begin the week with some good news. The West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team is going dancing. The playoff campaign is set to get underway after another successful Friday versus the Roseville Panthers, where the Lake Show once again took care of business. The final week of the regular season and the final chance to avenge a loss from last year as the Roseville Panthers come to the Swamp on senior night. Lakers make quick work of the Roseville offense in just a handful of plays, but David Foutner of the Panthers brings out the claws as the Lakers take the rock and gets a nice stop in the process. Lakers also struggle to get revved up on the offensive side. The defense, however, already in playoff form, just 3 plays into the Roseville drive. Ryan Davis sips it to Milton Standup, the sling, the doink, and the snag. The big easy Ezekiel Davis with his second pick in as many weeks, and the Lakers take over at their 29-yard line. But Roseville's D is also taking care of their territory and brings the L boys to a third down. Gut check time, and Jamal Shakespeare's got guts. He gets into a shoving match, gets the win and the first down. Just under 2 minutes later, Jackson Carver finds Joel Davis on the sideline. He corkscrews away from Brandon Riddle and takes it north to the end zone. Lakers strike first. It's 7-0. So now Roseville's looking to answer. Bryant Holland Snowden makes the catch, and then he's on the run. Snowden takes the rock over 65 yards all the way down to the 2-yard line. And in just 2 plays, the Panthers claw back into the ball game. The QB keeper for Ryan Davis evens things out at 7 apiece. Second quarter, third down for the Lakers. They feed it to Jamal Shakespeare. He gets to the outside and he earns the first down again. But number 2 wasn't done. 3 plays later, Roseville forces Shakespeare into a corn maze, but he weaves and wills his way to the 2-yard line. First and goal for WB. Now Shakespeare is taking it to the house, but a penalty would negate the score, and that was only the beginning of the problems. Shortly after, Carver tosses it to Shakespeare. He slings it to the end zone, but Armani Hegman keeps his eye on the ball and swipes it from the Lakers. Roseville takes over on a touchback. After a Panthers 3-and-out, West Bloomfield takes over. They get back into plus territory and go back to the well with Jamal Shakespeare. But Armani Hegman wants you to remember he can make big plays too. He lays down the law and stops the run. Nonetheless, the Lakers make forward progress, and Jackson Carver finds his wide receiver 1. Willie Edwards picks up the 27-yard touchdown. That's his 4th on the season, and ends a 3-week drought. West Bloomfield takes a 14-7 lead into the half. 24 minutes left in the regular season. West Bloomfield begins the third quarter, returning a bouncing kick and taking a leap of their own.
Probably would have gone out of bounds, but Hall will take it. To the 20, to the 30, got some space to the 50. Here comes Cam Hall. He still got it. He gets past the kicker all the way home. Touchdown, WB.
That's the third special teams touchdown of the season for the L boys, and their lead advances to 21-7. Roseville takes the pigskin just 20 seconds into the second half. Ryan Davis goes on the run, tripped up by Deuce Banks. Mouse in the house, the ball is out, and Tristan Hunter has it. Another takeaway for WB. West Bloomfield looks to make it a 17-point lead. They turn to Bryce Coburn for a 36-yard field goal. 5 for 6 on the season at that point, but this would be his second miss. Wide left, and Roseville escapes damage. After a Panthers 3-and-out, it's back to the air. Willie Edwards gets another receiving touchdown, and after just 1 in weeks 4 through 8, he's got 2 in the regular season finale. Lakers advance their lead 28-7. Roseville's looking to stop the run on the scoreboard, but Tristan Hunter wants to stop the run on the gridiron. He drags Reginald Feldner back for a huge loss, and a few plays later, Roseville says, let's go back to the air, but Jamar Bray says, let's go back to the ground. 2-0 gets the sack. The Panthers have to give it up. We go to the fourth. More defense from the Lakers. Now it's Zeke Davis adding to the stats sheet. Had an interception in the first half. Now a sack in the second half. Roseville has to go for it on fourth down.
Got to get to the 5-yard line. Davis in traffic. Up the pocket and outside. He's going to take it himself. And he's going nowhere. Obi Duru says good night with 6 minutes left and stops the offensive drive.
It would be all defense all the way home. West Bloomfield wins 28-7 and finishes the regular season with a 7-2 record. They'll host the Brighton Bulldogs at the Swamp for the district semifinals at 7 p.m. on Halloween night. You can find even more information about Friday's playoff game and watch all of our coverage from all throughout the regular season already complete on civiccentertv.com/LakerSports. Tune in early on this week also for This Week in Laker Football as we preview the playoff campaign ahead. West Bloomfield going to host Brighton at home on Friday night. We'll give you the official word once we know the status of our broadcast. Here with even more insight on the Laker football team as we say goodbye to high school football regular season and hello to the playoffs is our West Bloomfield Lakers color analyst, Matt Catoni. Matt, welcome to playoff time.
Yep, thank you for having me, and best time of the year for high school football.
Yeah, it's the time where we get to see the best of the best play each other head-to-head every single week, and now the stakes are even higher, which means that win last week against Roseville might just look even better for West Bloomfield, considering the way that they played, especially in that second half.
Yeah, very great job by the Lakers team. They showed a lot of life on offense, aside from just their usual running the ball with physicality and dominance. The passing game showed a lot of promise last night, and I think Jackson Carver had a phenomenal game.
He did. Jackson Carver was fantastic at the quarterback position on Friday night, as he has been all throughout the year. That Clarkston second half, and really that late third and fourth quarter, the lone blemish on his season, throwing for 57%, just reached 900 yards on Friday night, 7 touchdowns, 2 of those to Willie Edwards in that game against the Roseville Panthers. And important to get guys like Willie and Joel Davis back involved. They've kind of had a little bit of scoring droughts lately. Joel Davis broke those scoring droughts last week. Willie Edwards breaking his this week. And now the Lakers kind of have that versatility back in the running and the passing game, able to get these targets to football. And with guys in the receiving corps, Willie Edwards, Cam Hall, Shannon Rochon, Rayvon Perry, all in recent weeks scoring or having big opportunities. Now they make themselves even more dangerous in a very tough division.
Yeah, and when this offense is at its most dangerous, especially running the football, that play-action game over the middle to them is really almost seamless. The way that Carver can get the ball to Edwards and how Edwards can seemingly find open space downfield. And again, you mentioned Shannon Rochon, who I think has flashed tremendously since he started to get more reps on offense. He had an unfortunate drop this past Friday, but I think he's a player that you can really watch on this offense that they could really try to get the ball to in the playoffs, as teams don't have that much film on him.
The Lakers placed in Region 2, District Number 1. They're going to go up against the Brighton Bulldogs on Friday night, and then they'll face the winner of Detroit Catholic Central out of Novi and Heartland in the district finals, should they get back to that point, a point where last season it spelled the end of Laker football. So, Matt, we've seen the Lakers go up against this level of competition. Early on in the season, teams like Dearborn Fordson, another Division I playoff team, Lakers handled their business really well. Fordson, after that first week loss, ended up being 6-1 the rest of the way, beating this Brighton Bulldogs team in the process to end the regular season themselves. Meanwhile, on the other end of things, you got Rochester Adams, a team that West Bloomfield had some struggle with, ended up overcoming. And then you got Oxford and Clarkston, two teams that are ahead of West Bloomfield now in the playoff points. They're down a district. They're in District Number 2. West Bloomfield may see them again should they make it to the regional final. That means all the more reason these last 2 weeks getting back on track, vitally important to this Lakers team as they head into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of a benefit of circumstance. The Lakers have the opportunity to avenge their only losses over the past 12 months. They win this week, they get the opportunity to avenge their loss to Catholic Central last year. And if they're able to beat Catholic Central, they get the opportunity to either take down Oxford or Clarkston.
Now, let's not look too far ahead. This Brighton Bulldogs team is very good in their own right. Narrowly escaped having this be a home game for themselves, 69.33 playoff points, West Bloomfield at 72. One of the closest matchups from a playoff points perspective in the opening round in Division One. That tells you the level of competition the Lakers have to face now. And they got to be ready for that, Matt, which means the kind of disciplined football they played by and large last week and had a little bit of struggle with against Bloomfield Hill is going to be even more important as you want to make the most of your opportunities.
Yeah, a little difference in the record, but this Brighton team's ranked around the same spot in the state as Roseville was going into last week, around the top 60 teams in the state. So it's a similar level of talent that the Lakers have played all year, and really akin to that Fordson team that the Lakers dominated in week one of the season. So it's really a good test for the Lakers to see if they're still at that level, that they can just keep their level of play at this, pace to where they can just maintain the run game and go into that Catholic Central game with a lot of confidence if they can win this week.
And one thing the Lakers can't allow against Brighton is that momentum to start moving forward. Now, what is the benefit of that, as we've seen, when that momentum has hit, particularly in these final 2 weeks of the regular season, West Bloomfield's been able to answer when it gets to the payoff point. That's a little bit different come playoff time, when most of these teams have hit that point before, have had their fair share of failures after long, sustained drives where they get right to the precipice of crossing into pay dirt. That's going to be a lot tougher of a task for West Bloomfield. So when they have those opportunities like they had last week with Jamal Shakespeare in the red zone, and he makes a big-time play, fourth down, you got 1 yard to go to get into the end zone. You're able to escape and get to the outside edge and into the end zone. Gets called back on a holding penalty. Got to be really playing tight ball on Friday night.
Yeah, those holding penalties can really make or break drives and even impact the game entirely. If that game had been a little closer, we could be talking about that holding call in an entirely different light. But as you mentioned, the momentum shifts in these games. That's one area where I think this defense is an incredible advantage for the Lakers, not just their pass rushers, but the linebackers and Kyron Merriweather and Zeke Davis. How they fly up and deliver hits. Just a single hit can light a spark for this Lakers defense and just, a domino effect that eventually leads in, sacks or turnovers.
And Brighton coming into this game with their own chip on their shoulder at the end of the 2025 regular season. 2 consecutive losses to Howell, and then last week in the KLAA crossover with Dearborn Fordson respectively. But they play both of those teams really hard. Fordson defeating the Bulldogs by just 4 points on Friday night the week before. It's a 9-point difference at home in their home finale against Howell. Both of those teams are playoff caliber teams in 2025, and that puts Brighton at 6-3 overall. Going into this playoff time, Matt, you look at the Lakers throughout these first 9 games of the season, the good, the bad, the really bad, and where they've particularly been at the last 4 weeks, which kind of tells you the tale of momentum going forward. What are you looking at that makes the Lakers a potential threat, not only this week against Brighton, but potentially going up against a team you could arguably say is the best team in the state 2 weeks out in Novi Detroit Catholic Central?
Well, I think they're trending up at the right time. We talked about how they almost kind of had to take their medicine against Oxford and Clarkston, and now it seems that they're getting back to, that Laker football brand, and they're just doing a tremendous job of getting the football to the outside, winning at the line of scrimmage, and limiting penalties that impact the game. And that's something that I think makes them dangerous, is they're getting to their best brand of football as we get to late October.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of these teams. Teams that had a load of talent but maybe don't have those blue chip stars in mass like the Lakers had in 2020. That's kind of what the identity was of the team in 2023 that made it to the state semifinals, that were roughly 1 or 2 plays going their way, maybe not having that injury at the end of the ball game to Brandon Davis-Swain, from making their own trip to the state championship game and maybe being able to take down Bryce Underwood and the Belleville Tigers to win their second Division I state championship since 2020. Very similar identity this year, where the stars on the team are shining at the best time possible. But what's even more important, Matt, is you're seeing new players arise. There's something about, and I talked about this extensively with Roseville's head coach on the phone last week, Coach Snowden, really preaching alignment and assignment. 2 guys or multiple guys on this Lakers defense that have been executing in that particular realm over the past few weeks. Ezekiel Davis, Kyron Merriweather, Jamar Bray, all of which have had huge interceptions or sacks or fumble forces and recoveries in these past 2 weeks. They are going to be key players also.
Yeah, and we've talked about throughout the season the importance of, being disciplined, lane discipline, gap discipline. And that, all those players right there, Merriweather, Davis, and Ray, they do a phenomenal job of just filling their roles and doing what they're supposed to do and letting the game come to them. And that's, why we hear their names so much at the linebacker position. It's because they have phenomenal instincts.
And that's not even to take away from guys like Kalik Robinson in the secondary, who's been lights out all throughout the season, who's been one of the best defensive backs in the OAA, if not in all of Southeastern Michigan. Now Christian Banks is emerging as a power player in that position too, very similarly to what we're seeing in the trenches. And for a defensive line that features Jeremiah Benson off the edge, Kamari Tank Pittman up the gut at the defensive tackle, now you've got a third monster to add to that defensive line in Tristan Hunter, who has really picked up his game in the past 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, we talk about this talent on the front seven, and somehow Tristan Hunter kind of, slips through the cracks. He definitely impacted the game the most out of.
Looks like we have a brief freeze up with Matt. It sounds like you just got back right then. Matt, are you with us?
Yeah, I apologize for that. But again, Tristan Hunter, he's just impacted this game at a phenomenal pace these past few weeks. And this past Friday, you could say he impacted the game more than anyone on defense, arguably. Getting his hands on, I believe, 3 passes and even getting a sack in there. He's just, again, we talked about playing your best brand of football and your best football at this time. And he encompasses that incredibly well.
Yeah, and he's been one of the leaders on that defensive line as you look toward the future, a guy that's going to be a senior next season. The next in the line of great defensive linemen at West Bloomfield High School, a consistency that has paid dividends for this Lakers squad in years that they've been fantastic. 2020, 2021, 2023 all come to mind, and years like last season where they maybe weren't at their best, but that defensive line was always at the top of their game. Now we're going to go back to the shining star, the offense. Everyone loves to see points go on the board, big offensive plays. We've seen a lot of that in recent weeks, but with all of that talent, Matt, who do you think is the number one difference maker for the Lakers come playoff time from the offensive side?
I would have to say Travis Robertson. I mean, winning at the edge is just an integral part of this Lakers offense. If they can get the edge, I mean, the things that they can do are just insurmountable. They can run the play action games and get the ball to Willie Edwards, but we've talked about these playmakers. You give them an inch, they take 20 yards from you. And if Travis Robertson is able to win his one-on-one, the Lakers can run their offense however they wish.
That's especially the case when you've got weapons like Obi Duru on those sweeps, even Cam Hall, who's really become more of a sweeping running back than a wide receiver in recent weeks for the Lakers because of that lightning quick speed. Having a guy on the edge on the offensive line that can set up those blocks, that can outpush anybody. I mean, it's tough to go up against a guy who's 6'6", almost 300 pounds, and is going to be playing Big Ten football at UCLA next fall. That's a really great point for the West Bloomfield Lakers coming into the playoffs. That offensive line that's on the younger side this season, Travis Robertson is the wily vet of that line. If he can have a great playoff season, so can that entire West Bloomfield Lakers offense. The Lakers will begin their playoff campaign. District semifinals Friday night at 7 o'clock. We can confirm that is the date and the game time. Halloween night, 7 o'clock at the Swamp. We'll have information on where you can watch that coming up very soon on civiccentertv.com/LakersSports. We have applied for a broadcast with the MHSAA, and at the time of this particular broadcast are awaiting that information. So if you're just tuning in, if you're seeing this later on, you're not sure if we're officially a go just yet, civiccentertv.com/LakersSports, also the place you'll get a preview of this week's game on This Week in Laker Football with head coach Zach Hilbers. Matt, Lakers got a lot of promise coming into this playoff season. They're a couple of plays away, a couple of series away from being maybe 8-1 coming into the playoffs instead of 7-2, or even being undefeated and possibly a top 3 or 4 seed in the entire Division I as they head into the playoff season. What is the biggest difference maker going to be for the Lakers? What do they need to change the most to turn from a good team into a great team that can win a state title?
Yeah, I would say eliminating those penalties, because again, penalties played a huge factor in those losses to Clarkston and Oxford. And I think as long as they aren't getting in their own way and putting their own hurdles on the field, this Lakers team can beat anyone.
Well, that's going to be an exciting Friday night of football at West Bloomfield High School. We thought last week may have been the final week at the Swamp for the Lakers faithful and their seniors especially, but after an exciting senior night celebrating those 22 football players, countless cheerleaders and band members as well, they'll get one more crack at it on Friday night. And hey, all goes well. The Lakers win and Heartland wins, and we'll be right back there for the district finals a week from Friday night also. But can't get too far ahead of ourselves. It's all going to come down to Halloween night at the Swamp. Matt, thanks as always.
Thank you for having me.
More information on the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team all season long, including where you can watch last week's game and all the games from the regular season to catch up and get ready for playoff season, and tune in early on this week for This Week in Laker Football, civiccentertv.com/Lakersports. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. So much more to get to on the other side of that. Exciting events coming up in West Bloomfield, and we'll even talk to a local restaurant owner who's combining great food with a good laugh close to home. Stay with us. Live, local, social. The Splash Live returns after this on Civic Center TV.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Can't be late to your own party. Hurry up! Hurry up! Ah! Do not cut me off. It's her fault? Her fault? Ah! You kidding me? Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk! Late! Out of my way! Honk! I hate construction!
You should have slowed down.
My party.
You wouldn't act this way in a store, so don't act this way on the road. Driving slower saves lives.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social, welcome back to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you as always for joining us and for always tuning in on our social media as well for short clips, full interviews, and even the entirety of our live show each and every day. Follow us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 for more, or join us on Instagram, X, and YouTube at Civic Center TV. This coming weekend, a beloved tradition continues in Sylvan in West Bloomfield. We'll get to that later on in the show as we preview the West Acres Craft Show. But close to home in Sylvan Lake, a night of good food and a whole lot of laughter as Next Step Comedy rolls down Orchard Lake Road to Guma with stand-up comedy that will leave you laughing all the way back home. Here to tell us more is the owner of Guma, Brad Cousins. Brad, thanks for joining the show today.
How are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. Last time you and I spoke was just before you opened Guma. Now it's not only become a place where people love to go for a good meal in Sylvan Lake after work or over the weekend or as they invite people into their hometown. Now it's also a place that's a destination for fun events like singer-songwriter nights and now comedy. So bringing in this comedy show, what's behind that? Why comedy now at Guma?
Well, we're having a lot of success with our Thursday night singer-songwriter series, and we're kind of realizing that people want more. They want more entertainment. It's not just dinner anymore. It's dinner and a show. So we're moving in more of a supper club direction, where we're going to start programming events on a nightly basis over there. And we figured what better way to start than with comedy. Who doesn't like to go out, have a good meal with good friends and laugh their butts off? on a Saturday night.
Yeah, it's a great way to enjoy the weekend in Sylvan Lake and enjoy some good company as well. So to bring in comedy, particularly stand-up from Next Step Comedy, where did that connection come from, Next Step in particular? What do they bring from a comedy perspective that you believe will be engaging to an audience here in Sylvan Lake?
Well, that connection came from, I also own Gracie Jiu-Jitsu School in Kego Harbor, and one of my students and good friends, Eric Sokolowski, owns Great White Buffalo Brewing in Northville. He's used these guys for comedy nights out there, and he says that they are just second to none. Very professional. They bring in national acts, and it's been very successful for him. He suggested we tried it as I was looking for more things to do, and so we connected, and we're really excited about it.
Brad, you mentioned that there's been really good response to Guma being a bit more of an event space and an event location that also is a restaurant that people can enjoy in a traditional sense as well. How has that response helped to inform the way that you're shifting to have more of these destination events at Guma, ideally on a nightly basis, as you mentioned, but even periodically, on top of running the restaurant?
Well, running restaurants now is a challenge, as everybody knows. It's things are ever changing, but we're having a lot of success with the grassroots stuff. In fact, we just had a private event a couple Thursdays ago from a female-owned company out of Virginia that was up here doing business with United Wholesale Mortgage. Years ago when we opened, she fell in love with the place. She rented the entire place out on a Thursday, and so it's just people are asking for more. And we've decided, we just reconcepted our other location, El Camino, into Paloma, and we've decided that we're going to move that down the street into a section adjacent to the Guma and get everything under one roof. So our focus can now be on some sort of live entertainment almost every night of the week, certainly on the weekends. We're going to get some live jazz acts in there, do it a little bit later at night. And yeah, I just think that's the direction that we're heading. And we're having a lot of great feedback from it.
And it helps to revitalize an area in the Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor area that, back when there were more brick and mortar stores, brick and mortar restaurants, places that were destinations in everybody's hometown, that was a very bustling place that people would go to every single week, every single weekend to enjoy time with friends and family. You're sort of doing your part to bring that back now with Guma being there, with now moving Paloma there also, and all these events. Why are those sorts of destinations in a community like Sylvan Lake, in a set of communities like the Tri-Cities and Greater West Bloomfield, so important, especially given the way that we are in society today?
Well, I think COVID really changed the framework. It changed. It was very, very challenging personally on a lot of people. And I think people got disconnected and they didn't know how to socialize as much before. I mean, it sounds strange, but I think everybody felt it. And so I think these little events, and I mean, the locals are the best. I mean, not to say we're not appreciating everybody that's coming from other communities as well, but this has become cheers for a lot of people again, for lack of a better comparison. And we really want it to be a second home and a clubhouse for everybody where they can come and just enjoy it all.
Brad Cousins is with us, the owner of Guma, located on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake. They're going to be hosting Next Step Comedy on Saturday, November 8th at 8 p.m. Live stand-up comedy right here in the prettiest little city in Michigan. It'll be a fun event with great food and even better laughs on that particular Saturday night. And if this does go well, Brad, do you imagine that this comedy night will be something that's a weekly or monthly tradition, much like you have with your Thursday singer-songwriter nights?
Well, it is going to be a monthly right now. Okay. We're hoping that we can grow it into a weekly situation, and then we'll probably transition into a open mic comedy thing where I was in business in Chicago for about 20 years, and I had a lot of success with that. I had Tim Meadows show up to my open mics. I had all kinds of people come through and do my stand-up open mic thing. So we're probably going to move into a weekly basis thing here, starting beginning of this next year.
As you're making those transitions and you're putting more of an emphasis on these live events, does that at all impact or change the way that you operate the restaurant business, something that you've been doing for all these years in a more traditional sense, to incorporate it being that the events are the attraction and then the food is a very great benefit?
No, it's actually we're doing them almost in a parallel, or the food is the attraction. Our food is dynamite. My chef is just fantastic, and everything is very good. So it's one is not interrupting the other. We'll have full dinner service up until 8 p.m. Then we'll continue dinner service into this comedy. So it's more of just an added benefit to the food service in the restaurant. And then if we end up having private events or something else, that'll be different. But we're trying not to overlap them too much. We're trying to make them really work together. So, but it is absolutely a go-to restaurant. We've had a lot of nice events with people from St. Mary's lately. We're getting a lot of those. So it's we want to be one of the local go-to spots for birthdays and anniversaries and graduations and any sort of celebration that people can have. And that's the impact that's always satisfied me the most, or made me feel the best about the business, was we provide a space and we provide uncompromised hospitality to people that will create memories for their lives. And that's really fulfilling for me and for my team.
Located on Orchard Lake Road, just east of Sherwood, right next to the Clinton River Trail in Sylvan Lake, Guma will be host of Next Up Comedy coming up on Saturday, November 8th. It's an 8 p.m. show. Get there early, and enjoy some food, and then enjoy a good laugh with the team over at Guma. Brad, as people get excited for this and other events coming up, are there any special deals that are tied to these live attractions happening at your restaurant?
Well, we've got an incredible happy hour that runs every day of the week, and that really is the specials that we run. Otherwise, we have some food specials and some drink specials that the chef will come up with, that the general manager and lead bartender will come up with. We're trying to create a special place for everybody.
Well, hopefully it will be a special night over there on Saturday, November 8th. The kickoff live comedy night at Guma, something we'll be seeing monthly in the prettiest little city, hopefully even more often, as I'm sure it's going to be a very popular night in Sylvan Lake. Brad, thank you as always for your time today.
Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Good to see you as well, and best of luck on comedy night. More info on events at Guma can be found on their website, guma.cool/events. Guma.cool/events, where you'll find more info on these upcoming comedy nights, other special events, and their weekly singer-songwriter series. You can also find a really good story about that on civiccentertv.com and our on-demand page. Learn even more about that event that started off just a little bit over a year ago in the prettiest little city in Michigan. Coming soon, Shoppe Sylvan returns for its second year at the Sylvan Lake Community Center, and among the many local vendors that you can support is Colleen Gallus, owner of Viety Designs, who joins us now on the Splash Live to tell us more about her business and what you can expect from her and her team at Shoppe Sylvan. Colleen, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on to introduce the community to Viety Designs. Tell us a little more about how it started and how you got underway on this creative endeavor.
Sure. My business partner, Crystal, and I, we started this kind of on a whim, making some personalized things for our company Christmas party. And we posted it online and tagged Holly Campbell in the post, and she shared it from there, and it went viral. So Viety was born from that.
And what kind of products or designs can visitors expect you to bring to Shoppe Sylvan and maybe be able to interact with, or hopefully purchase a few along the way?
Absolutely. Well, we have a long line of Lions gear, Tigers gear, some different just Detroit branded merchandise, just some things to really kick off the spirit of Detroit.
And what are some of the materials that you enjoy working with the most as you create these designs? Because they're not just your average run-of-the-mill cookie-cutter designs. These are things that you are putting specific artistic focus into to make them special and unique as they're made by someone local to our community.
Absolutely. So we really go for comfort. We use high-end materials, different fabrics that we source, on-trend design. Just really, if we see something out there that we would wear, she and I would wear, then we're going to bring it in and do something cool to it.
And we know that the goal of something like Shoppe Sylvan is to get more people out to the Sylvan Lake Community Center to support our local businesses and these small businesses that are rising in our community, these creative endeavors, and gets to know the people that are behind some of these interesting efforts. And so as you've been building VD Designs, how has the community influenced either the designs or the way that you operate to be able to make these creative endeavors move forward and, of course, run a small business right here in our greater West Bloomfield area?
Sure. Well, we've actually been very fortunate that our sports teams have done well in the city. And so that has obviously helped with business and the support from the community. And we're just kind of rolling with it, hoping that, you know, everything with the Lions continues and we see maybe a Super Bowl win this year.
That would be very nice, and hopefully would be quite a big promotion for some of your Lions gear, not only in anticipation when people go out to Shoppe Sylvan here in a short little while, but even afterward. And you can find even more about Shoppe Sylvan and their vendors on their Instagram page at Shoppe Sylvan. That's SHOPPE Sylvan for even more information. And you know, to be able to get out and join an event like Shoppe Sylvan, where you're able to interface with people in your community, the same community that many of these individuals are operating these businesses in, how does that provide not only a great opportunity for sales, but also for inspiration?
Absolutely. We have some really great vendors alongside of us that I'm excited to be a part of, and we're honored to be a part of. I've attended the event for years, and it's well done and well put together, and the creators have really curated some really great vendors, and we just look to network and gain inspiration from them.
And it's also an opportunity for you to have the community get to know you as well. And so as you're able to get to know the local small business community, you've mentioned being able to get inspired by some of the work that they do, the way that they operate their business, learn a few things. It's also, I'd imagine, a great opportunity to form some partnerships, for small businesses, for locally owned businesses, I would imagine is something that's really helpful as you continue to grow together.
For sure. We do have an online presence, but it's always good to get out there and let people touch, see, feel, meet us and see, what's behind the magic here.
You can find more about VD on their Instagram page, VD Forward on Instagram, or Shoppe Sylvan for more on all the vendors that will be at Shoppe Sylvan coming up in early November at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Going to be a really fun event. Colleen, as a creative entrepreneur, what have been some of your biggest challenges along the way? How have you overcome those and turned them into ultimately a positive for your particular company?
Sure. A lot of times it's just kind of coming up with new designs and, trying to get to that creative point, and you get in those creative funks. But there's so much that we draw inspiration from throughout the city and throughout our communities we continue to draw from that, and our creative process kind of rolls with it. But yeah, sometimes just being caught in that creative funk is hard to get out of, but we find our best to get through it.
So people see you at a local event, they see you at Shoppe Sylvan, they walk up to your vendor stand, they're going to look at all these different designs. What do you believe is going to be the biggest eye catcher that you're going to bring to Shoppe Sylvan?
Well, some of our number one selling items, like I said, are some of our Lions things, but really the Detroit branded merchandise. I think there's just so much pride that the Detroiters and the Metro Detroiters have in that. that the Detroit items seem to be our #1 sellers. Even if you're a huge Lions fan, you can wear that Detroit sweatshirt or T-shirt or tank throughout the year and really show off where you're from.
And so as people are getting ready for the holiday season, they're going to be doing a lot of their shopping coming up. We're going to hear so much about the importance of shopping local. We're going to hear it in all these different commercials. We'll hear it from the chambers of commerce in the local area. But ultimately, who it really impacts are people like you and small business owners here in our community. So when people do focus their holiday shopping or other high purchase times of the year on our small businesses, just how big of an impact does it actually make on them?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's majority of our business is local. Although we have an online presence and people purchase from all over the country, really it's our local, it started with family, friends, and then it's just word of mouth that spreads. So it is so important. I know not only for me as a vendor, but so many of the other vendors that will be at Shoppe Sylvan, for the community to really support them. And these events are huge. This is what puts food on the table. So we appreciate anyone that's out there and willing to support us.
So many different designs will be available at Shoppe Sylvan, along with vendors from all across Sylvan Lake, Keagle Harbor, and around the greater West Bloomfield area. For more information on that, follow Shoppe Sylvan on their Instagram page at Shoppe Sylvan. That's SHOPPE Sylvan, or head on over to our website, civiccentertv.com. You'll find even more information and some of our recent interviews about this upcoming event happening at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Colleen, when you go to this event, when you have this interaction with all of these different customers, hopefully, or at the very least, people that are your local neighbors, what do you take away at the end, other than, of course, some business opportunities, to be able to interface with your local community like this once again this year?
There's just so much positive energy that comes from these events. You just gain a lot of new friendships, a lot of new just connections that you make throughout it. But the energy at the end of these events are just incredible, and you leave on such a high. Obviously the business part of it is great, but really that connection to community is so important, and it's really what we're looking most forward to.
Sunday, November 9th, 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Shoppe Sylvan will feature local vendors from small businesses right here in the greater West Bloomfield area, including Vieti Designs, where Colleen Gallus joins us on today's edition of the Splash Live. Colleen, before we let you go today, I want to give you one more opportunity to tell the people of greater West Bloomfield a little bit more about Vieti Designs and what this effort means to you, to your family, and of course, to your artistic side as well as you continue to operate this business in our area.
Yeah, well, it means so much. Again, just to be invited and included in the Shoppe Sylvan was a huge honor. And then to see our local community support us and seeing our gear being worn on the streets, it's pretty cool. We're so grateful and feel so fortunate to have been given this opportunity in so many ways. From just even the Holly Campbell repost, a year ago, that really put us on the map, to again, seeing our designs on the street, it's awesome. And so we're really, truly grateful for this opportunity.
Plenty of interesting, unique, and even custom designs available. Check out their Instagram page at Vieti Forward for even more information. Colleen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it, and we will see you out at Shoppe Sylvan on November 9th, 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. More information on the event itself and to see previews from many of their vendors, including Vieti Designs, visit Shoppe Sylvan on Instagram. That's Instagram.com/SHOPPE Sylvan for all of the details. Close to home, West Bloomfield once again is host to one of the top restaurants in all of southeastern Michigan. For the 7th consecutive year, the Detroit Metro Times has listed the Stage Deli as the #1 best deli in all of Oakland County, making the over 40-year institution on Orchard Lake Road even more of a destination for food lovers across the local area. I spoke to the owner of the Stage Deli, Steve Goldberg, to celebrate the big win and talk more about why their restaurant continues to love operating right here in West Bloomfield Township. Steve, thank you for coming on the show today, and congratulations once again on this big honor.
Good morning. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, glad to have you on. This is a place that people who have lived in West Bloomfield, who come through West Bloomfield, they go to the Stage Deli. They love this place, and now it's getting the love again that it deserves, continuing to be pretty dominant amongst a pretty well diverse area of delis throughout Southeast Michigan. What do you believe sets the stage apart from the competition?
Well, that's an interesting question. We've been doing this as a family for 63 years. And I'd say the number one thing is consistency. We consistently produce excellent food and great guest experiences. We love our clientele, we love our staff, and we just love being part of the community. And I thank all the Metro Times readers and the staff for voting us again number one in Oakland County.
And you started out, of course, your family opened this restaurant in the 60s here in Oakland County, moved into West Bloomfield in the early 80s, and has stayed here in your location on Orchard Lake Road and in this township ever since. Why West Bloomfield as the place to continue this family business and sustain it for now the majority of the time that it's been operating, almost 45 of those 60 years?
You know, it's for our restaurant, it's been a terrific, and our family, it's been a terrific love affair with the community. We love being here. It's a beautiful community. I love the values and the people. And, of course, the people who've shown their love to us. And hopefully they've had some great meals and memorable experiences there. You know, many people experience their entire life's watershed moments at our restaurant. We have all kinds of celebrations every week. And it's really gratifying to be part of the heartbeat of the community.
I've had some very important moments there as well, here with Civic Center TV and also with my family in recent years as well. It's been a place growing up in West Bloomfield that I know many families have gone to for a number of years, and well, one of the many reasons it has been honored once again by the Detroit Metro Times as the #1 deli in all of Oakland County. Steve Goldberg is the owner of the Stage Deli and joins us on the Splash Live today. More information on their website, stagedeli.com, or visit them on the boulevard on Orchard Lake Road on the east side, across from the old Orchard Fitness on the boulevard just south of Powers Road. Steve, it's a difficult time, and it has been for several years for restaurants, especially locally owned, family-owned restaurants, to sustain themselves, both to bring in customers and to maintain the business and the standards that they've had. But the Stage has been able to do that and still be quite competitive in doing that too. What do you believe is the difference maker that has continued that momentum for your organization and continue to have it be a place that people want to work, people want to patronize, and the community continues to love?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. We do things right. We take care of our staff. We use only the finest quality ingredients. We have we make so much of our product from scratch in our kitchen. We have one gentleman whose only job is to make cheese blintzes and potato latkes. So that tells you a little something. And we're not just a deli. We're a full service restaurant. We have a huge menu of dinner entrees, great fishes and steaks, and I think people love the variety. You know, you could have a chopped liver and tongue sandwich, or you could have a kale salad, or amazing broiled whitefish with soup and a couple of sides, and it's a good value.
And it's a great place to go for all that different value and all that different variety as well. You can give them a call at 248-855-6622 or visit them on stagedeli.com. Steve Goldberg is with us, the owner of the #1 deli in Oakland County, according to the Detroit Metro Times, and many right here in West Bloomfield Township over at the Stage Deli. It's not just a restaurant, too. You also have the deli counter that plays a big part in your business, too. And beyond that, your restaurant's open during the day, most days of the week, but every now and then you'll open it up even earlier to community gatherings like the Optimist Club, or sometimes even Rotary will have their meeting there. So how important has it been to you, especially now, 40-plus years into your family owning and operating that restaurant in West Bloomfield, to continue to incorporate it into some of the fabric of what the community means in this township?
We love to be able to do whatever we can to give back to the community. We have to do that within the constraints of our highly of our hardworking staff. But whether it's hosting a breakfast or giving to the community with food or donations, promoting particular events. We try and do what we can, and because we're very grateful. We're very grateful for the relationship with the community for going on 43 years now. It's not often that happens, and we're very cognizant of the special place that we hold in the community.
And obviously you and your family take so much pride in this. It is the family business. It's been operating since the 60s, but you also mentioned too, the team environment, taking care of your staff, making sure that they also care about the operation is such a critical part as well. How do you maintain that and those relationships? And beyond that, what do you believe about your staff makes them love working for the stage and put that kind of pride into their work every day?
You know, it comes down to caring. I care about my staff. One of the most gratifying parts of my job is to see my staff gain expertise, to thrive, to raise families. I have over 50 staff members who all have families. They put them through school, colleges, and they come back. The kids come back, and they're doctors and lawyers, and it's a wonderful feeling that the Stage Deli and our efforts have been able to accomplish that. And taking care of people will, they'll take care of you. Just, you be good to people.
Since 2019, been awarded the Detroit Metro Times #1 deli in Oakland County, hoping to go for year number 8 next year in 2026. Steve, before we let you go, any other message to your team, to the community, as you receive this honor and continue to be one of the staples and the destinations for people looking for a good bite to eat in West Bloomfield?
Well, I'm just incredibly humbled by the nod and the award, and just vow to keep working every day to make each day better than the next, and love what we do.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you joining on and want to extend our congratulations to you and to your team once again for this big honor, the 7th consecutive year you've received this award.
Thank you so much. It was great being here.
You can learn even more about the Stage Deli. Follow them on their Facebook page at Stage Deli, on Instagram at StageDeli_MI, or find their website at stagedeli.com. Close to home, right outside our doors, a brand new elementary school building is making some very quick progress at what will be the new Chico Elementary School. Recently, leaders from across the greater West Bloomfield community got a special preview of the building already in progress. Leading the charge for our team inside the new facility was Civic Center TV reporter Jake Schaff.
The construction progress on the brand new Chico Elementary School has made incredible strides within the last few months. And just recently, the West Bloomfield School District got to take an up-close and personal look inside of the brand new building that will be opening its doors for the fall 2026 school year. With so many innovative opportunities for learning everywhere you go, this school has something for everybody and such a clear and strong vision for the future.
Oh my goodness, I can't even put it into words almost. It's going to be so incredible. The students and staff just continue to be so supportive, the parents, and they are super excited to start in the new school year. The construction workers, Pat, the construction manager, everybody involved, Jamie Stottlemyre, central office. Every time we come, we can see all of the progress. They've been wonderful at giving tours and really bringing the staff along so they see the progress and can envision it and start planning as we speak.
You know, we're really excited about the progress at Chico Elementary. The construction is really going on as planned. We're excited that we're still on track to meet the opening date of June of 2026. And to see the space come to life has really been amazing. To now see it kind of in a 3D atmosphere, whereas before we were seeing it on drawings, is really exciting. Now we can visualize the space with kids in it and staff. And being able to come out here today and experience this with staff and for them to be able to see and stand in their classrooms where they're going to be in a year from now was just amazing.
I'm really excited about the learning spaces and the opportunities that students will have. First and foremost, the theme of Michigan, it really is a children's hands-on museum meets school, and it will make learning engaging and just really next level. So the kids will I can't wait to see the looks on their faces because they have never seen school like this.
It's incredible. it's, if anybody looking for a home in West Bloomfield sees this school and are not attracted to coming to our school district, it would be shocking for me to understand. Having started back here in 1985 and watched 3 different additions onto the building as I was at Green Elementary, and seeing what we're going to have now, it's just the technology, the infrastructure, the building, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
How great do you think this brand new Shoppe Elementary School is going to be for the school district and their mission going forward?
I think it's going to show that we're committed to dreaming big for our students and dreaming bigger for our community. And I'm really excited about the learning that's going to take place in this building and how the space is going to actually facilitate deeper level learning within it. Learning spaces matter, and I think this is going to be an unbelievable space where we connect the academics with the learning space, and we're really going to see great results from this.
Construction for the brand new Shoppe Elementary School is scheduled to be finished by June of 2026, just in time for the fall 2026 school year, where the first batch of students will get to enjoy this incredible school and set an incredible precedent for what's to come. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on civiccentertv.com and all across our social media. Big thank you to our entire crew at Master Control for making today's program move smoothly for the past hour, and of course to you for joining in as well. For our entire team at Civic Center TV, I'm Tyler Kieft, live, local, social. This has been the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.